Last time on Redo of Healer. During his city travels, Keyarga encountered a slave trader and acquired a female ice wolf demi-human. Despite her infection, the wolf remained conscious and filled with anger. Intrigued by her, Keyarga wondered about her plans for revenge against those she hated. At the start of episode 4, Kearu heals Setsuna. Her memories reveal she and other Ice Wolf tribe members had attempted to stop Jioral mercenaries from discovering her village, only to be easily overpowered. As the dying demi-humans took their last breaths, they revealed the location of their village to the mercenary group. Consequently, Setsuna's fate was sealed as she was to be sold off to a slave trader. The next morning, Setsuna awakens to a pleasant surprise. Her ailment had been cured. Despite her gratitude, she feels compelled to leave and attacks Kearu. However, her attempt is in vain as he easily subdues her. In a shocking twist, Kearu discloses his knowledge of Setsuna's past and explains that she had hit a plateau in terms of her strength. Nonetheless, he offers to raise the limits of her current strength as a hero in exchange for her true name. Knowing the risks, Setsuna takes the courageous decision to reveal her true identity, accepting the fact that she will become Kearu's slave. Without wasting any time, the two engage in an intimate moment, sealing their newfound bond. As Kearu, Freya, and Setsuna arrive atop the cliff facing the Ice Wolf village, they are met with a shocking sight. Soldiers had already arrived and were abusing their captives. However, before Setsuna can rush in, Kearu intervenes, revealing a hidden strategy. He informs Setsuna that the soldiers' cruel actions were meant to draw out the demi-human warriors. With a calm demeanor, Kearu convinces Setsuna to wait until he can thin out the enemy forces. As the battle between the kingdom and demi-humans ensues, Kearu takes on the role of the sword hero, donning a mask and charging in with his heal ability. Replicating Kureha's Claret's sword techniques, Kearu swiftly takes down some of the soldiers. As a larger group of soldiers approaches, Freya casts Falling Star, unleashing her powerful magic to do away with the crowd. With the enemy numbers reduced, Kearu signals Setsuna to join in and eliminate the remaining survivors with the rest of her tribe. After the battle, Kearu and Setsuna set out to uncover the source of the poisoned water plaguing La Narita. To their horror, they discovered that a corpse of a monster was placed in the water source by the demi-humans. With his cunning mind, Kearu offers to increase the poison's potency or turn the river into medicine. Setsuna chooses the latter, showing her compassion and empathy for those uninvolved. During a moment of intimacy, Setsuna completely surrenders herself to Kearu. Grateful for his help in seeking revenge and saving her tribe, she finally reveals her true name to him. Despite his triumphs, Kearu realizes that he still has a long way to go in his quest for revenge. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. Who is your favorite girl in the show so far? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out, and now, back to the recap. At the Jioral kingdom, the king sternly reprimands Renard for his failure to save Flair. However, he still gives him a final opportunity to redeem himself and restore his reputation. Renard, now filled with determination, eagerly accepts the challenge and promises to capture Kearu by any means necessary. With his mind racing, Renard begins to think about all the possible ways he can accomplish this task. He knows he must be clever and strategic if he wants to succeed. As Norn stands by the king's side, she places her hand on his shoulder. At the heart of Jioral Kingdom, Kureha Claret is taken aback when she overhears the news of an alleged hero who used the Claret sword technique to eliminate a troop of soldiers. Nevertheless, she can't shake off the nagging feeling of unease that troubles her. Later, Kearu, Setsuna, and Freya find themselves luxuriating in a refreshing river, indulging in each other's company before heading towards their destination in La Narita. As they venture forth, they encounter a man on the street who confronts them, but they manage to subdue him after a brief scuffle. Upon discovering that the man was a deserting soldier from the Ice Wolf village, they are left with no choice but to take his life. Their journey leads them to a merchant in La Narita who, upon seeing Keru's skills, demands that he shares the recipe of his potent healing potion. However, Keru refuses to spill blood over something trivial and instead decides to sell the recipe for a hefty sum of 500 gold pieces. As they leave the merchant's abode, Keru reveals to Setsuna and Freya that he had kept the fact that the potion required antibodies from himself to be effective, leaving the merchant at a loss. As Keru walks through the forest, suddenly he's ambushed by Kureha. Without any warning, she manages to graze his cheek with her weapon. With a swift movement, she accuses Keru of being the felon who attacked the army that was protecting the Ice Wolf clan village. She declares that she won't allow him to disgrace the Claret family, with a fiery passion in her eyes. Freya and Setsuna, who were accompanying Keru, attempt to tell Kureha the truth of what happened, but Kureha is quick to assume that they have been brainwashed. In a panic, Freya casts a fireball towards Kureha, but Kureha is too quick and manages to evade it. Kureha then uses her scabbard to incapacitate Freya, leaving her helpless on the ground. Provoked by the injury to his property, Keru decides that he has no choice but to break Kureha. With a fierce determination in his eyes, he engages in a duel with Kureha. As they clash, Keru manages to shatter Kureha's sword through alchemical corrosion, but Kureha isn't willing to give up so easily. She quickly draws another sword and manages to keep Keru at bay. In a sudden move, Keru tosses a flask and throws several knives towards Kureha. However, Kureha is quick to cut the knives with their swords, causing the flask to spill its contents. As the aphrodisiac spills, Kureha becomes heavily aroused, but she's determined not to succumb to its effects. She stabs her own leg to overcome the effect and continues to fight with all her might. In a desperate attempt to end the fight, Kureha manages to lop off Keru's right arm. However, Keru had been expecting this and quickly regenerates his lost limb. With his newly regenerated arm, he uses heal on Kureha, showing her memories of the kingdom's abuse of demi-humans. Overwhelmed by the truth, Kureha faints. Later on, as Kureha gradually regains consciousness in a cozy inn, she finds it hard to accept the atrocious crimes she witnessed in her visions committed by the Jyorao kingdom. However, her doubts only intensify when Keru, the healing hero, reveals his true identity to her. In response, Freya, donning Flair's appearance, shares a shocking revelation with Kureha that she faked her own death as part of a joint effort with Keru to expose the kingdom's sinister nature, and that they had also protected the village from the kingdom's ruthless soldiers. Slowly but surely, Kureha begins to realize that she had been fighting on the wrong side all along, prompting her to rethink her understanding of justice. Reflecting on the time when Keru healed her arm, she reaffirms her commitment to a system. However, just as she is about to regain her bearings, the effects of the aphrodisiac she had unknowingly ingested begin to take a hold of her, leading her to engage in a passionate encounter with Keru. In the meantime, the situation in Alban village takes a dramatic turn as Renard and his army draw nearer, fueled by their unyielding thirst for revenge. What will happen next? Will our protagonist fight off the oncoming army? Find out on our next recap of Redo of Healer.